All I keep thinking about is how many survivors are going to sleep uneasy tonight. How many of them have been triggered all day by some of the really horrific comments that have been across social media. And it's the message I give all the time to survivors, which is be gentle with yourself. We don't owe anybody anything. We don't owe anybody our survival. We just owe ourselves to survive. And as hard as this is, our healing is not predicated on any court case or any conviction. I thought it was fake at first. I was like, this can't be real. And then I saw it second, I went to the internet immediately and I thought, here we go. I thought this is going to be a long day. Even in a world where people believe that a person like Bill Cosby, who has admitted to drugging and raping women, doesn't belong in jail at 80 something years old, right? You can both believe that and still hold him accountable and not for being a serial rapist, which is what he is. There's a world in which both of those things can exist, and that's the conversation we should be having. If he doesn't spend the rest of his life in jail, what does he do to be accountable for the harm that he's caused? And I'm afraid that we're not going to have that conversation because it's a split down the middle between people who think this is a victory and, this is justice for Black folks, Black men, and for people who are just like, he should rot in jail. And there's no middle ground. There's no part of our movement that has a goal of putting people in jail, right? And so a conviction, a win in a courtroom, or an overturn of a conviction doesn't derail or further the movement. What happened when Weinstein was convicted, when Cosby was convicted, when R. Kelly was arrested, what happens is the people who they victimize, their survivors, get a sense of catharsis, get a sense of relief, and some accountability for them. And other people who've experienced sexual violence can vicariously feel the same thing. But as a movement, we are here to support survivors, and we're here to expand the possibilities for ending sexual violence. As much as I feel sort of appalled by this overturn, I understand the legality, I understand the technical issues and all the rest of that. And I also understand that we have a legal system in this country that was not built to support survivors. It wasn't made to give us accountability. And so when we see these failures of accountability, it's to be expected. When we have survivors who can live full lives and are thriving, when we have, different policies in place, when we have new laws in place, when we have different ideas about accountability, a full spectrum that is more than just a crime and punishment sort of framework, when we can move to a framework that's about harm and harm reduction, that is progressing the movement forward. If we took a step back from this idea of crime and punishment, right, that means that when somebody experiences sexual violence, it has to first fit in the definition of the crime. If it fits that definition, then maybe you can arrest them. If you arrest them, maybe they can go to court. If they go to court, maybe they'll get a conviction. There's only 1% of rape cases that go to trial see a conviction. So if we're looking for the court system to give us a sense of accountability, you're talking about less than 1%. But if we switched our thinking to think about harm and harm reduction, and I say, you've harmed me, period, you have to be accountable for the harm you caused. I'm not trying to fit it into a narrow definition of crime created by somebody else. I'm saying to you directly, you have harmed me. And I get to say what accountability looks like. We are far from that. We're not in that place yet, right? As a country, I get that. Whether Bill Cosby is in jail tonight or not, there's still going to be every so-and-so amount of seconds a person in this country sexually assaulted. The real work of this movement is to change that number and to move that needle. For people who feel discouraged, who feel disheartened by the overturn of the conviction, know that there is a robust and growing movement out here of people who are committed to ending sexual violence, and we need more people every day. Me Too started a whole site, a whole platform called Act Two last year. People can go to the Me Too movement website and visit Act Two to find ways to be more active in the movement to end sexual violence. There's something that everybody can do.